Are you a high-level user and you're looking for tips and tricks that you can go ahead and implement in your business starting today, that you can go ahead and use it to either increase your customer retention, or you can go ahead and use these tools to be able to provide more value to your customers and solve your kind of problems? So the first thing first we're going to talk about it. This is a new feature that High Level just came out with, I believe was either on the 3rd or on the 4th of April, which is the ability to share funnels. Now, if you are a high-level user and you're building funnels, let's go ahead and dive into it. If you're building funnels, right, the last thing you want to do is you want to, you don't want to build your funnel and then have to upload it somewhere and then have to do all this fancy stuff, right? So you can go ahead and share your funnel directly from your funnel, the funnel building page, the folder, wherever it may be. And also, if your users did not have access to this, maybe you're on the version 1 of High Level, now you can go ahead and whenever they go to create a new funnel, they can access the template library, right? What is the template library? The template library is just basically a library of pre-made or done funnels where your users can just come in here, select the funnel type that they want, and start building the pages already custom, ready to go, right? So that's the first feature. Now, how do you share it? Let's say I just built the funnel. I'm currently working on the ebook funnel. The Appointment Setting Manager wrote a book, and it is basically the appointment setting guide for insurance, health insurance agent. From basically, I believe the title of the book is From Closing. I gotta ask her what it is, but it's from closing deals to making money, or something like from cold calls to closing deals. That's what it's called. But let's say I wanted to share this funnel from here, right? I can share it from the page. I can share it from wherever it may be. All I have to do is come up here, click on the share button. Obviously, come up here, share the funnel, copy the link, and go ahead and put that link, right? Or you can come up here directly from the funnel page and click on that, and you can go ahead and share funnel. That's tip number 1. Tip number 1 is share funnels. Tip number 2 is a very common question most people have is, before you can go ahead and be able to share that funnel, you need to have this live. You need to come up here to your main agency account, the main account of the person that the sub account is under, and you need to come up here to the company page, and here where it says template library, you need to scroll down here to where it says template library, and right here on the template library right here is this allows you to share funnel, website, and social planner, email templates with your sub account admins and users can go ahead and share the sub accounts, right? So that's an example there. There's going to be a link in the description if you want to go ahead and sign up for a High Level. That's 1. So let's go on to number 2. Okay, the number 2 thing that I want to go ahead and talk about that most people don't know is this is going to come from your main account, your actual main account. As to let's say you are a user who is sending a bunch of text messages, and you'll notice your messages are not getting delivered. Tip number 1 is tip number 2, toll-free numbers have to be registered before they can go ahead and send text messages, right? So you need to make sure that your number is registered. How you do that? You come up here to settings, and you want to come up here to phone numbers, and you come up here to toll-free number registration, and then come up here and register the toll-free number before you can go ahead and send any bulk text messages. Now, tip number 3 is if you want to go ahead and avoid your numbers going to spam, you want to come up here to the Trust Center, and over here in the Trust Center, you want to go ahead and register, finish your business profile. So create an EIN, include your EIN in there. After you've done including your EIN, then you want to go ahead and pretty much enable trusted call, right? Another thing you can do as well for caller ID is right here where it says verify caller IDs. You can be able to add new caller ID and verify your caller ID, right? That's tip number 3. Okay, so the next tip that I want to go ahead and talk about now is going to be basically tip number, I don't know if I'll call this tip number 4 or tip number 5 or tip number 6. Okay, is I want to go ahead and talk about the workflow. Okay, and what I want to talk about here in the workflow is I want to talk about the if-else condition. All right, I want to talk about the if-else condition. Now, what is the function of the if-else condition, right? The if-else condition just basically says if they are present here, do this, or else do that, right? Most people don't use it. Let's say I have a contact form that someone fills out. Okay, because let me just go ahead and talk about first creating the workflow. You pretty much saw me start from scratch, right? Before I complete this, because I realize a lot of people are not familiar with the workflow bit, so when you go ahead and come up here to the workflow tab, it's called automation, it's called workflow, whatever it is that you have. My account's customized, so hence mine is a little bit. When we come up here to create workflow, When you come up here to the create a workflow tab, is you're going to see a bunch of menus. You're going to see the recipe, appointment booking, recipe appointment confirmation, and all the blah 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 blah. Fast five, send review request. I prefer to start from scratch because it all depends on what you want to do, right? So when you click on create new workflow, all right, let's put you need to click campaign. Oh yeah, start from scratch. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start from scratch. Create new workflow, right? What is the goal? Let's say I want to go ahead and send an email whenever someone opts in, right? I want to go ahead and send an email, right? What I'll do is I can name this opt-in email. Okay, I can name this opt-in email. Now, you might say, hey Emmanuel, I don't know what to include in my email. Now you can use ChatGPT to write your emails if you wanted to. You can come up here to, let me see. Browser, whatever this is it. And you come up here to ChatGPT. You come up to ChatGPT. When you come up to ChatGPT, what you can do is you can do write me a 3-part email sequence for a webinar about appointments. Okay, sure. Email 1, announcement. Don't miss out our upcoming webinar. Now, you notice this ChatGPT actually went ahead and wrote this for me. So now, you see, now I have my whole entire email sequence done right here. So what I can do is right here, the email 1 is announcement. It's still right in the email. Email number 2 is reminder. Last chance to register for appointment setter webinar. Just a quick reminder that the webinar on appointment setters is happening tomorrow, and this is your last chance to register. So you notice how it's already written up the sequence for me, right? So all I need to do is come up here. You're just gonna copy and paste. So we can do a copy and paste here. I'm just gonna copy email sequence 1. All right. So go ahead and copy that. And let's go back into the next browser. All right. So now let's say I want to go ahead and send an email. Send email. Now another thing to talk about here is you're probably going, okay, what does everything mean? Think about, this is how I like you to think about high level, right? You have lead connector premium actions. This is basically me setting up off inbound webhooks. External communications. Think about external communications as communications between the CRM to the customer, right? CRM to the customer, external communications. And then if you see anything here that says CRM communications, this is all internal. This is communications with the CRM with itself, or communications between the CRM and the team. Okay, so whenever you want to send something to someone else or do an action that involves you engaging with someone else, you want to be in external communications. When you want something to be done inside of the CRM, you want to be, or within the users, you want to be in the CRM communications, right? And then, and then membership actions, which is basically people who opted in. And then if else, this is just conditional logic, right? It's just conditional logic. Webhooks, if you want to do math operations. I've never used math operations before, so I really won't worry about it. So I want to send an email. I come up here, send email, and I just go ahead and paste that, and then obviously paste the webinar registration link right here. And best regards, your name. Igweh. And as you notice, all I have to do is obviously come up here and customize it, right? And then for the subject, all I have to do is fix that and then rather than put in dear recipient, I can just come up here, put that, come up here to custom values, contact, personal name. So now I've pretty much done that. And then obviously you can customize it as you would see fit, right? And then once you're done with that, then you can go ahead and choose the name that is going to be found, and then you can go ahead and choose the email that is going to be found, right? So what your trigger can be for this, because every workflow needs a trigger, you can choose to not have a trigger and manually add people. How you would manually add people. Let's say I wanted a trigger, I can come up here and choose, customer booked appointments, or the most common one is a tag, right? Put a tag, and the tag is, tag added, it's going to be webinar, right? I can go ahead and add a new tag, for instance, right? My computer's been acting up. That's pretty much an example of what you can do. Now, let's say I wanted to add somebody to the campaign or the workflow that I created, which I never really published it, so you're not going to see it on there. What I can do is I can come up here to my contacts, right? And let's say, let's So there's going to be a tab right here, because if you don't want to use a trigger, there's a tab right here underneath your contact, okay, that is going to basically say right here, okay, so campaigns and workflows. You check that down, and then you can go ahead and click on the add button right here, and you want to add the contact to that campaign, to that workflow, right? So you can manually add them in there, or you can set them up via tag or any trigger, or say the option for your funnel, right? That's another thing as well that you can do. Another trick that most people never really pay attention to is basically here on the emails portion here, the templates, right? So when you come up here to email templates, right, and you can come up here and create your newsletter, right? Like I said, you guys know I'm a very big fan of ChatGPT. Since implementing it in the business, it's been able to cut 2 days worth of work into 2 hours worth of work, right? So what usually would take me a long time to do, like writing email sequences, writing, the blog content, writing books and all that stuff, it's basically been able to condense it into one. So what you can do is you can go on there to create a new email template. Now the benefit of creating a template is you can always reuse it in the future, right? A lot of people don't go off of the template portion. A lot of people just like to try to create something generic. The benefit of templates for me is the ability for you to go ahead and just reuse it, right? It's just for the ability to, you can pick that template up and you can use it at any point in time. You just have to customize it, right? So that's basically the template portion there. And another thing as well is trigger links. Trigger links are very, very, very important. Trigger links are important in the sense that trigger links allow you to, let's say I come up here to trigger link and I created a trigger link, unsubscribe, insurance quote, video review, whatever it is. Based off of this trigger link, when I go into a workflow, let's say I come up here and create a trigger link, add link, right? And then this is going to be wrapping it up, but I'm going to share more pointers. Let's call this cool. Okay. So what I can do is now I can come up here to automations, and I'm not going to go into detail as to all that good stuff that I did earlier. Start from scratch, creating a workflow. And right here, I can come up here and I can set up the condition of an if-else statement, okay? And then you can come up here and you can set it up based off of, either not even a workflow trigger events, okay? So this is where I have to add a wait step. Let's say I send an email, right? So let's say in that email that I sent, which is kind of weird how I can't find the email that I sent, but it's just gonna be, let's come up here to trigger links. And that's trigger link I created, which is Google right here. Save action. Let's just go test. All right, save action. And then what I can do is based off of this trigger link, I can come up here and I can create an if-else condition that basically states that, whenever an event happens, right, prior to this, I gotta wait step. That's what it keeps telling me. Waits. And then this is going to be right here, trigger link clicked, and the trigger link that I'm looking for is Google. All right, so what I can do now is I can come up here and add an if-else condition, and an if-else condition, which I was trying to do earlier, my bad, is I can come here whenever a trigger link is clicked, is Google. Whenever that trigger link is clicked, right, what I can do is I can send them, a reminder, or I can say do this, or let's say I can even set up if trigger link is not clicked, or the trigger link is not, trigger link clicked is not, is, or times out, or whatever it may be. You get the point of the whole, the gist of the whole situation is to come around, play around with it, guys. If there's anything you want me to explain, just go ahead and let me know. You can also send me an email or leave a comment, and I'll go ahead and cover that. But that's pretty much what I have for you right now. There's a bunch of tips, and I'm going to go ahead and drop a few more tips, but I want to keep this video as short and as sweet as possible. And that's it. And if you need an appointment set up for your business, or you need a virtual assistant, just go ahead and click the link in the description, or go to RIZNResults.com and hire your appointment setup. If you want to sign up for high level, there's a link in the description below. After that, I say